Good afternoon, everyone. I am meteorologist James Longwith with Dynamic Weather Agency, and today I got another great video for you. Today we're going to be talking about the major winter storm that's beginning to push its way through the central Great Plains into the Midwest and Great Lakes region. We also are going to be talking about the threat for severe weather down on the Gulf Coast and the Piedmont and Carolinas region later this week. Taking a look at our current national radar, you can see that swath of snow that's beginning to impact parts of the central Great Plains and to the upper Great Plains, beginning to push its way up into the Midwest and Great Lakes region. You can see some of that mixed precipitation that's occurring in Kansas, Missouri, and southern Nebraska. This is going to be affecting all the way from Kansas all the way up to Illinois, creating some icy conditions. And before we get into today's video, I want to thank everyone who has subscribed to our channel over the past couple of days. If you haven't already, hit that like button down below and please subscribe to our channel. Also check out our social media pages. Links are down below in the description, and you can also check us out on our website, dynamicweatheragency.com. We also created a Patreon page with a ton of different monthly packages and tiers for you guys to subscribe to, ranging all the way from $1 to $20. That will help us out. There's also a $100 option for channel and page sponsors. You can check out all the descriptions and all the perks at our Patreon page with the link down below in the description. Anything you guys donate to us will help create more channel content like this. We also create storm chasing videos like you can see down below. Some of that will fund storm chasing and research efforts that we have here at Dynamic Weather Agency LLC. And also, most of my services I used to offer were behind a paywall, and I continue to make those services free and public on our website. And with that and the increased traffic that we have seen lately with me writing some public blogs and adding some weather graphics onto there, we continue to see increased traffic flow, and that will help with our website and our web design efforts as we continue to make stuff available and free to you guys. So let's get into today's video. So like I've been mentioning in the past couple of videos, you got to be aware of stuff you're seeing on social media, especially from people who are not meteorologists. This is occurring on Facebook, on Twitter. This is just one of the more notorious pages we are seeing. This post basically was a scare post to get likes and shares, basically calling for a monstrous, deadly blizzard across the region that we're seeing this winter weather beginning to occur. If you check out the description of the page, you'll see the websites for antiagingking.com. Basically, he says, I'm 52 and I created the most powerful anti-aging program in the world. Basically how I described this as yesterday in a video, if you're going to go to the doctor, you don't want to see your mechanic there trying to give you your doctor's exam. You want your doctor to be there to give you your medical stuff. You want your mechanic to, work on your car, and you want a meteorologist to give you your weather information, not just some random person on the internet who just is looking at weather models and is only picking and choosing what looks the worst, and not looking at multiple models and using meteorological reasoning to come up with a better solution than what the models are painting. Because all models are run by these long math equations, but they are simplified to make the models run faster. So since those equations are simplified, the models are automatically always wrong as they come out. It's our job as meteorologists to find those discrepancies, to monitor trends of models to make a better forecast. So you might be going, well, we don't know who you are. Are you really a meteorologist? Well, yes. I graduated from Ball State University, got 2 degrees from there, a degree in meteorology and a degree in Geographic Information Systems. I was also took part in making Ball State a StormReady campus. I was also the director of the Ball State Storm Chase team and assistant director of the Ball State Storm Chase team, as pictured on the right. This is us on a chase in northern Illinois a couple of years ago. I also received the Dave Odom Award for Excellence in Service in Meteorology and Climatology. I'm a professional storm chaser and meteorologist with Dynamic Weather Agency LLC. You can find my footage on Good Morning America, the Weather Channel, and on the Weather Channel's hit series World's Wildest Weather, and on many other national and local news agencies whenever we're out there chasing. They pretty much always buy our footage. I'm also a forecaster for the United States Air Force. That's my primary job. I work for the 28th Operational Weather Squadron. So let's take a look at what's been going on in the last 24 hours. We've been seeing some pretty heavy rainfall across the southeast region, especially over Georgia and up into the northeast. Saw some snow yesterday over in the Four Corners region and up in parts of the central Great Plains, with some really high snow that occurred in Colorado in the higher elevations of the Rocky Mountains. As we take a look at the National Weather Service's current hazards, we see that nice swath of winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings already in effect for much of the central Great Plains up into the upper Midwest into the Great Lakes region. Taking a look at a closer look at this, you can see Omaha, Des Moines, Davenport are all in that winter storm warning, while all the other places are in that winter weather advisory, including Minneapolis, Green Bay, Milwaukee, Chicago, Peoria, Grand Rapids, Kansas City, all in that winter weather advisory. As we said, not only is snowfall going to be a big impact with this event, we're also going to be looking at some ice accumulation where we can see accretion of greater than 1/10 of an inch of ice. This is going to create hazardous road conditions within this region. You can see just north of Kansas City, we can also see some ice accretion of about 1/4 of an inch, affecting parts of that northeastern Kansas and parts of northern Missouri, where we're seeing on that radar imagery right now some of that mixed precipitation that was occurring. So taking a look at our high-resolution Futurecast radar, we see that freezing rain and mixed precipitation conditions occurring across parts of Kansas, Missouri, and the southern Nebraska, snowfall to the north in the central and upper Great Plains. System's going to track off to the north and to the east, creating snowy conditions across parts of the upper Midwest and Great Lakes region, with ice occurring all the way from Kansas to Illinois into parts of Indiana and Michigan. That system's going to push off to the north into Canada, creating some snow conditions in the northeast on Wednesday into Thursday. As we go back a little bit, you can see there's this other area of low pressure that's off of the northwest coast that's bringing some rain and snow conditions from Tuesday into Wednesday across parts of Washington, Oregon. There's going to be a nice, big, deep upper level trough is going to be developing across parts of the western CONUS, and is going to bring a nice push of cold air. As you can see, as we get into Wednesday, we see some snowfall that's going to begin to occur across parts of Texas. As we go Wednesday into Thursday, as this low pressure system begins to develop across Texas, that's going to be bringing our severe weather to parts of our Gulf Coast region. You can see that low pressure system that has developed in Texas with this nice cold front by 6 p.m. That's going to be in eastern Texas, western Louisiana. You see some of that mixed precipitation that's beginning to wrap around that low pressure system off to the north and to the west side of this low. You can also see some convection or some systems that could form ahead of this cold front, where we can see that further stretch of that severe weather into Mississippi and even into parts of Alabama. As we continue from Thursday into Friday, this low pressure system is going to continue to move its way off to the north and to the east, creating some mixed precipitation, some snowfall, again for parts of the central Great Plains into the Midwest and Great Lakes region, Thursday into Friday. You can also see by we get into Friday evening, you see that mixed precipitation has lifted off. We see mostly that changing back into snowfall. It's going to be impacting parts of Illinois, Missouri, Iowa, and Wisconsin as we get into Friday evening, and is going to eventually start pushing its way further into the Great Plains region. We now into the Midwest, and you can also see that cold front now stretching across the East Coast. That's going to bring that severe weather to Georgia and the Carolina region. This is yesterday's run of the Euro, showing that swath of 5 to 10 inches of snow. And this is today's model run of the Euro. You can see the Euro is being pretty consistent on its forecast totals and its track of this low pressure system and where the highest snowfall is going to be. Taking a look at yesterday's GFS was actually running some pretty high totals of basically this nice swath of anywhere from 6 to 12 inches of snow, with some isolated areas seeing up to 15 inches of snow. Now, taking a look at today's run of the GFS, you can see the GFS has begun to decrease those snowfall totals. We were talking about that yesterday about the GFS being a little bit high. We do see the GFS starting to tone down those snowfall totals. The track is pretty similar to the Euro, and basically the Euro and the GFS basically agree kind of where those highest snowfall totals are going to occur. Taking a look at the NAM 3 kilometer, this is a high resolution North American model. You can see again also that nice swath of high snowfall totals occurring in eastern Iowa and southern Wisconsin. This is a little bit more narrower compared to the GFS and the Euro. This is the National Weather Service's blend of models. Again, showing similar to the GFS and the Euro, kind of where that heavy snowfall is going to occur. Basically, a nice swath of 5 to 8 inches of snow, with maybe some isolated areas seen above 8 inches of snow in extreme eastern Iowa and northwestern Illinois. As we take a look at the HRRR, this is the high resolution rapid refresh model. This model is actually being quite aggressive with these snowfall totals. Again, showing some of that heavy snowfall occurring in central and eastern Iowa, southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois-ish, with a swath of 12 to 14, with a small area of 12. With a small area of 12 to 14 inches of snow occurring in eastern Iowa, northern Illinois, but pretty much mostly a swath of 6 to 8 inches of snow. And this is the UK Met. This is another European model. Again, similar conditions to the GFS and the European models. So most of the models are pretty consistent, just a little bit differences on where the high snowfall is going to be, and just a little bit differences in the track, but overall seeing pretty much similarities amongst the models, besides the HRRR showing some very high snowfall totals within that Illinois, Iowa region. Lastly, this is the National Weather Service's forecast for the next 24 hours, similar to GFS and European, with they have kind of this little bit of higher area of snowfall in that part of Illinois and Iowa. The WSSI Day 1 overall winter impacts, you can see we have moderate to major impacts in the upper Midwest. Zooming in, you can see those moderate to major impacts impacting parts of Iowa, Illinois, and Wisconsin. As we take a look at our winter weather risk analysis, our confidence is high in a significant winter storm today and tomorrow on Wednesday. Heavy snowfall is most likely across parts of Nebraska, Iowa, South Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Snowfall amounts of 4 to 8 inches are likely across parts of northern Nebraska, Iowa, southeastern South Dakota, southern Minnesota, and central Wisconsin, with isolate areas of 8 inches plus. We can see that little swath I added in there of 8 to 12 inches within that region of eastern Iowa, southwestern Wisconsin, and northwestern Illinois. Snowfall rates could exceed 1 inches per hour up to 1.5 inches per hour, with some of those strong bands, with the low to mid-level frontogenesis support that's going to provide some extra lift with a moist air advection across the region and the isentropic ascent. With this, and the combination of gusty winds may lead to some travel disruptions and hazardous travel conditions today. Freezing rain will be possible all the way from eastern Kansas and southeastern Nebraska through northern Missouri into Iowa and Illinois, where we can see more than 1/10 of an inch of accretion possible, with some areas seeing up to 1/4 of an inch of ice accumulation. For our winter weather threat, snowfall is going to be high just due to the snowfall accumulations, those 4 to 8 inches, with some of those isolated areas that could see 8 inches plus. Freezing rain and ice is going to be moderate just because of those 1/10 of an inch ice accumulations, with up to 1/4 of an inch, as we saw in those portions of Missouri and far northeastern Kansas. Wind, slight conditions, just because wind gusts will be anywhere from 25 to 35 miles an hour, creating blizzard-like conditions. Again, I want to put emphasis on blizzard-like conditions and not blizzard conditions, just because it won't meet the 3-hour criteria of blowing and drifting snow, reducing visibility to less than a quarter statute mile, and for gusty or sustained winds of 35 miles an hour for 3 hours. All those criteria must persist for 3 hours. We can see temporary conditions of those blizzard conditions, but they're going to be blizzard-like conditions and not actual blizzard conditions, as in you'll see on some posts posted on social media. Here's a closer look at our snowfall map. You can see big area, 3 to 5 inches of snow, the swath of 5 to 8 inches of snow stretching from central Iowa all the way up into parts of western Michigan, with that isolated area of 8 to 12 inches of snow in eastern Iowa, southwestern Wisconsin, and northwestern Illinois. With this system, we're going to see accumulating snowfall, freezing rain, slippery roads, some poor visibility, and some of those strong snow bands, and some travel disruptions with this system. Again, major travel disruptions due to this being a major winter storm. Like I said, travel risk, moderate risk today, high for snowfall, moderate for ice, low for rain, and moderate just because of those gusty winds. Not only are we going to have, this winter storm, we also are going to be looking for the impacts of some severe weather on Thursday and Friday, especially along the Gulf Coast and the Piedmont and Carolinas region. However, the SPC has painted that region on Friday over the Carolinas. That could be pushed just slightly further to the west, affecting more of Georgia, as the system doesn't appear to be progressing as fast as I think they were expecting. Taking a look at the day 3 convective outlook, they have a slight risk for severe storms painted across that Gulf Coast region on Thursday. Taking a closer look, this is going to include places like Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Hattiesburg, Biloxi, Mobile, Jackson, Alabama, Jackson, Mississippi. All these places are going to be affected by this slight risk. I expect this to also be upgraded, possibly an enhanced risk in the next couple of days as we get closer to the day 1 convective outlook, basically due to the dynamics there for tornadoes. Taking a look at ingredients that we need for the severe weather. 1, we need wind shear. Wind shear is the change in wind speed and or direction and height. Next, we're going to be looking for atmospheric lift. This is going to cause air to rise and form clouds. Next, we're going to look at instability. This is basically energy in the atmosphere. It will basically tell us how strong storms could get. And next, we're going to be looking at moisture, which is basically a fuel for the storm. You also need moisture to even create clouds. Now, when talking about severe weather, I'm pretty much going to mostly talk about the Thursday event, not too much about the Friday event right now. I'll probably talk about that in the next video as we get a little bit more higher confidence in that event. Right now, my confidence is not as high as I would like it to be talking about, but I am pretty confident about the event down in the southeast and Gulf Coast region. So taking a look at the 10-meter surface winds and dew points, we can see southeasterly flow across the Gulf Coast region on Thursday in the afternoon and evening hours. This is creating some moist air advection of some very warm, unstable air. This is going to interact with a surface front that's going to provide some lift across the region to get these storms going. Taking a look at our jet stream, we got a jet max just off the coast. That's over Texas. We got some diffluent flow occurring over the southeast region that's providing some exhaust and upper level support for thunderstorms. That's going to, because this is going to create some divergence aloft. At 500 millibars, we see this nice deep 500 millibar trough with this nice vort max and shortwave that's beginning to push its way through. This vort max is going to create some PVA, positive vorticity advection, just ahead of it, which is basically supportive of some upward vertical motion, some cyclonic spin in the atmosphere. As we take a look at our CAPE, we can see CAPE values ranging anywhere from 1,000 to about 1,500 joules per kilogram. This is, again, a measure of convective available potential energy. Basically, it's telling us how much energy is in the atmosphere, and it's another measure of instability. As we take a look at our lifted indices, we see lifted indices ranging from -3 to -6 degrees Celsius. This is looking at the difference from a parcel in the atmosphere's temperature to the actual temperature at 500 millibars. To do this, we basically look at forecast skewed T's, and you subtract those two to each other, and it becomes a negative number if the parcel is warmer than the actual atmosphere. Thus, the parcel is able to rise freely. So this is another measure of instability, and is a more accurate measure of instability than actually looking at CAPE. Just because of at this time of the year with winter storms, you normally have synoptically forced systems with low CAPE, high SHEAR profiles. Speaking of SHEAR, we're taking a look at our 0 to 6 kilometer, our 0 to 500 millibar bulk SHEAR. We got around 50 knots bulk SHEAR over the region, which is good for organized storms, which is supportive of supercell thunderstorms. As you take a look at our surface to 500 millibar crossover winds, our surface winds are in the red. We see southeasterly flow ahead of the surface low, so our winds are very backed at the surface with veering winds with height. As we look up at 500 millibars, we see those winds becoming more southwesterly and are increasing in speed, as our surface winds are ranging anywhere from 10 to 15 knots, with our upper level winds ranging anywhere from 50 to even 75 knots, with a 75 knot low level jet that's moving through Louisiana at this time. That's going to enhance thunderstorm development. Low to mid level jet with a 75 knot mid level jet moving through the region during the time of severe weather, which is going to enhance the low level jet, which is going to enhance probably tornado development across the region. Taking a look at our SRH values, we see very favorable SRH values greater than 300 meters squared per second square, especially across Louisiana and parts of southern Mississippi. Basically, with values like that basically indicates that supercells with strong tornadoes are possible, with anything ranging from 300 to 449 meters squared per second squared. But pretty much just expect some supercell thunderstorms. Probably going to be low on seeing those strong tornadoes, given just the little bit of weak instability with the CAPE, but can definitely see some tornadoes with this system according to the helicity values over the region, and that's going to be due to those nice curved photographs we'll see because of the veering of the surface winds, and of course the increasing winds of height with that nice mid-level and low-level jet moving on through the area, increasing those SRH values. And if any of those storms become right movers and fall and just become a little bit more right moving than the mean flow at 700 millibars, that will also increase SRH values across the region. So the next thing we're going to look at is the significant tornado parameter. It's one of my favorite parameters to take a look at. It looks at CAPE, it looks at LCL heights, it looks at SRH, it looks at pretty much everything that we've already kind of talked about, and kind of compiles it into a probability of tornadoes for this day across the region. Typically, you want to look for values greater than 1, and as we can see on this day, we can see values ranging all the way from 2 to about 2.5, 3 across Louisiana. This is at 21 Zulu. This is around 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, so about 3 p.m. Central Daylight Time. You can see some of those, that nice plume of STP across Louisiana. This is going to lift off into parts of Mississippi as we get into 0Z in the day. So that's probably where we're going to see some of that greatest tornado threat. Is going to be across Louisiana and parts of southern and western Mississippi. So summing up everything we pretty much talk about, taking a look at our setup, our lift, our instability are both going to be moderate. Our shear value is going to be high, as we saw this 50 knot bulk shear across the region. Our threat for tornadoes is going to remain moderate right now. Hail is going to remain low just because the hail growth region is not supportive of hail. And taking a look at our winds, just because those upper level winds with that mid-level and low-level jet that could be moving through, we can see some of those winds mixed down to the surface with any thunderstorms, so we're going to have moderate winds due to that. Our overall threat right now is going to be slight for both of the days. because the setup is going to be pretty much similar to the next day on Friday with Piedmont and Carolinas region. As I said, we expect to see that maybe move a little bit further west. I do suspect to see on the for the Gulf Coast region with the severe weather threat on Thursday. I expect to see some of those Storm Prediction Center to upgrade that to an enhanced risk. Right now, we're just going to keep the overall threat as a slight risk, but we do expect to see them to increase that risk, and then we're expecting to probably see a slight risk for the event on Friday. Again, I would like to thank you guys for checking out today's video. Taking another closer look at the current radar, we can see some of that mixed precipitation with some of that freezing rain and ice occurring in Kansas and into parts of Missouri and southern Nebraska right now. Those areas are going to be expecting to see slippery road conditions and freezing rain of 1/10 of an inch to even up to 1/4 of an inch with this system. We can see some of that snowfall continuing to occur in parts of the central Great Plains, moving its way up into the Midwest, into the Great Lakes region. Again, I would like to thank you guys for checking out today's video. I'm meteorologist James Longwith. If you haven't already, again, hit that like button, subscribe down below. Check out our social media links, our website, and our Patreon page. All the links are down in the description. Anything you guys can do to show us support, we muchly appreciate it. I want to see your guys' comments. I like to read all of them, and I will try to reply as much as I can if you guys have any questions about anything you saw into today's video. I also hope you guys had a great holiday. The New Year is right around the corner. Today is actually my birthday. I'm another year older. I'm glad to be able to share this day with you guys and be able to make more videos and stuff like this. I hope 2021 is a little bit better. 2020 has been such a hectic year, and I hope the new year brings good wishes to you guys. I hope to continue to make videos like this. I'll have another video tomorrow for you guys, and that is pretty much it. So I'm meteorologist James Longwith signing out. You guys have a great day.